My gosh, man. Yeah. If you, let me. If you want, I can just run with the stream down and just run no audio for the cast. That's fine by me. I don't mind. Yeah, we can do that. That's chill. All right, you good? Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the fourth round of the World Tour Saturday Series. We missed the start there. A little bit of drama in that turn one of Fuji. We have Mylan, who's held on to the lead, and some of the other drivers between 2 and 4 got caught up in that turn one drama. And we now have a little bit of a shift of the field as we see Mylan out here leading by about 2.3 seconds. A comfortable lead for the beginning. We'll see if he can actually hold on to that through the duration of the race. As we got Victor and Vojtek going into the first turn here. That battle is quite close. Looks like Adamir there about a half a second behind Victor. This has been a battle that will definitely shape up towards the end of the race here as they're already close to each other. We'll see how they can manage the tires through the race. As they come through here, it just really looks like Victor is holding on to his gap. Not too bad. Vojtek trying to close it up, doing what he can. As we have Jawo down here later in the field, he was involved in some of that turn one drama. Yassarian off track, rejoining there. Not sure what the issue was, and he's pulled off and back to pits. Unfortunate for Yassarian. He may be retiring out of the race. So we have Patchy and Ferris Sword here fighting for the 8th position. We have Patchy about 8/10 behind, trailing behind Ferris here into the final sector of the track through all these undulating hills and all of these technical turns of the circuit. It's definitely going to be a place where we see some drivers really eating up those tires, and we'll see if they can hold on to them through the full 45-minute race. We have a VM favorite here. We have Ryan Kiagolski. He's here in 6th, following quite closely to 0 to Hero. His gap less than the others around the field right now. He's about 4/10 going into that braking zone. He was about 3 beforehand as he's trying to hang on to 0 to Hero. There are a little bit of lockups into that turn 1 at Fuji, one of the longest straights that we have on the calendar and in motorsport in general. It's quite long there. Looking back towards Ferrisward and Patchy, looks like Patchy's trying to get around the outside of Ferrisward here. They've really come closer into the braking zone. Patchy trying to stick a nose up the inside, just doesn't seem to work out for him. He locks the brakes up a little bit and he falls back behind Ferris. Ferris holding on well, good defensive driving. See if Patchy is looking for another opportunity of a dive bomb in there. He thinks about it, but he just leaves it. But Ferris runs wide, runs over the curb there. Patchy up the inside for the next turn, and it looks like Patchy might hold on to this into the braking zone. And yes, Patchy does get ahead. Ferrisward with that little error there down at that braking zone of Fuji just really really did not spell out well for him as Patchy gets in front, hangs onto the lead. Ferris going over the curbs again. I'm sure those tires are screaming at Ferris with the lockups and some of the tires scrubbing through there. Seems like Patchy may hold on to this now. His gap currently about half a second. Would be quite a move for Ferris to come down the inside for the dive bomb here as they go down the straight. Into the braking, Ferris closing that gap, but Patchy still hanging on. As we have Victor here, we have, Vojtek here, hanging on to the back of him is Stredjek. I'm not sure how to say that actually, but we have, and it looks like we actually have a battle there with Zero to Hero on the back of Michael or Mikau into this sector, the technical sector at Fuji. Only a mere half a second behind him, a little bit of a wiggle there from Zero. Let's see if he can try to piece something up through here. Michael really trying to hold on to that lead, try not to use those tires up too much. You don't want to get them too hot. As we go. What'd you say? Oh, yes. Sorry, man. Yeah, no problem. We are down the main straight here at Fuji. They are side by side, Zero to Hero, going down the inside there of Michael. Looks like he gets the move pulled off there, but still Michael hanging on to the back of Zero. Let's see if that gap can open up. Zero trying to run away. It looks like through this longer corner here, he's opened a little bit of a gap. As they get into the braking zone here, it looks like he is comfortably ahead of Michael. And Jawa at the back of this pack here, also looking for opportunity. But behind Jawa as well, we have Ryan Kiagolski trying to find a place or two in this championship. He came out of Interlagos with the podium, down in 7th right now. So we'll see what he can bring out of this one. We know Jawa to be quite a fast driver as well. As they go onto the main straight here, not the main straight, they're still in the 3rd sector. Jawa really looking for some type of opportunity to open up here. Zero the Hero, the gap has come back down, and it seems to be what is turning out to be a 4-way fight for this 4th position here. Here they are now coming down the main straight. Jawa on the back of Michael. Michael still trying to reel back into Zero the Hero. Looked like the gap closed up in the 3rd sector, but now it's wide open going down into the main braking zone. As they go, Michael looking for a dive bomb, but Jawa trying to go down the inside of Michael there, having a little bit of contact that also is getting Kiagolski off as well. Jawa does take that position. Is he going to give it back? It looks so far like he is going to try and hold on to that. No, he does give it back to Michael. But now he's got Kiagolski for company there, flashing the lights, maybe to say a little bit of an apology there to Michael as he tried to go down the inside. Now Kiagolski looking down the inside of Jawa here, trying to see if he can get a gap open and if he can put his car in there. Kia really trying to capitalize off of the mistakes of the drivers up front there. Michael's still trying to hold on to that lead. I'm not sure if there was any damage on contact or not, but it seems like Michael, for right this second, is able to hold on to his lead, and Kia just dropping back off a little bit there. Jawa probably still looking for a move here. He wants that position back. He thinks about putting the nose up the inside. He does go up the inside into the turn there. As they go, but Michael looking for a little bit of a switchback. They're here on the main straight. Wow, what an absolute great drive Michael had. Jawa tucking back in, though. He's going to get the slipstream down the inside. Look at them squeeze all the way over to the right side of the track for the right-hand turn. They want to be on the left. Michael opens it back up. Jawa with a real thin line, a little bit of a lock of the brakes. Michael dipping in there, almost had a little bit of contact between Jawa and Kia, but Michael holds on. Jawa now with that position gained fair and square. This is quite a battle here, ladies and gentlemen, as Michael now even closing up on Jawa through here. They have a little bit of a straight coming up, but Kia Golski trying to get the nose out the inside somewhere, trying to find where he can put his car to capitalize off of this battle that's going on up front. It's quite a close battle here. All of this a while going on. Zero has ran away, giving about a 3-second gap to this battle. He is definitely using the pace that he has in hand. Oh, and Michael barely touching Jawa. That had Kia Golski locking up there as well. Looks like they all stay in position now, and they all seem to get away out of that one alive. It's close racing here. It's technical racing through this third sector, but these three drivers are all managing to hold on, and the gap forever staying at this about half second between all of them. As they go onto the main straight now, opening up, Michael's going to have quite a slipstream down the main straight. Moves to the outside of Jawa. Jawa definitely wants to play that inside line. He wants to keep his place here. Let's see what happens. We have Kia also looking to capitalize off of this battle up front. As they go into the braking zone, Michael getting a little bit of a jump on the braking zone. Jawa, though, sticks it down the inside. He stays there. Michael a little bit off track as they go into the next sector here. Kia still looking to capitalize. Michael just on the edge. Oh, and Michael into the back of Jawa. Looks like he was just late on the brakes there with a little bit of a slide. Kia capitalizing, gaining a position from that. Not sure how that affected Jawa. It seemed that Jawa was all right from the contact, but it seemed that Michael really got the short end of the stick there. Kia is trying to hang on to Jawa now. Let's see if he'll have the pace to keep up and to pass Jawa. As we have here, the battle for second, we have Vajtek. A little bit of a slide here through this third sector at Fuji, and Victor trying to hold on to that second place. Like we said, there was some of that first turn drama here at Fuji that shook up the top end of the field here. Victor now trying to secure that second place. We do have Mylan in the lead. We haven't seen him much. That's because he's 11 seconds ahead and pulling. He is on an absolute flyer right now and doing what he can to open that gap up. About 27 minutes left in our race here, and things are shaping up to be quite interesting now. Vajtek into the braking at turn 1. Lots of smoke going on, but Vajtek is holding on to the back of Victor there. Not doing shabby at all. He's got about an 8/10 gap, which is not too bad of a gap as we go into this third sector. It is closing up through this right-hander. He seems to have a lot of drive, more drive than Victor does here, as they clip into the left-hander and they move on to this midfield straight. Vajtek gonna be looking for some type of slipstream to see if maybe there's a move down the inside. Very deep braking from Vajtek, tries to scare Victor off his line, but he just doesn't quite get it. Into the technical third sector now. As we go into here, Victor has about a 5/10 lead to Vajtek. Vajtek, though, trying to close that, looks up the inside, wants to get his nose in there, but Victor says no thank you. Goes a little bit wide on the exit of that corner, but all while hanging on to the lead here as they round out to the main straight here. Vajtek has a beautiful drive off of that corner. Lots of slipstream on Victor. You don't want to overtake too early, as we saw some of that battle between Jawa, Kia, and I believe it was Zero maybe. You can always do the switchback on the slipstream. They get into the braking zone though. Vajtek keeps it alongside Victor and now goes up the inside. He is now in second place. He's going to want to be hanging on to that. All the while, Mylan's still opening his gap as they go into the second sector of Fuji here. Vajtek is going to be looking to try and open this gap, but they don't want to use the tires up too much. It seems like everybody's hanging on quite well as Victor is trying to hang on to the back of Vajtek here. Zero Hero, we have a 10-second for cutting as well for him. They move on to the long, or sorry, not the long right-hander. They are on the mid straight right now, and it seems that Victor is not able to close that gap on braking, but he has quite a favorable gap going into the technical section here as we move to Garrido and Patchy. Garrido all over the back of Patchy. We saw Patchy in some battles earlier on. Let's see if he can hold on to Garrido here, or if he can hold his position as, Garrido looks for a switchback here into this third sector, it seems. Garrido and Patchy, they almost come together there. Patchy desperately trying to hang on, Garrido desperately looking for somewhere to put his car, and he does, up the inside of Patchy there. Garrido now moved into 8th place, and as you can see, that gap that he has opened up already after that pass is favorable. We'll see if he can hang on to it down the main straight, and we have Bobby Boberson here, another VM favorite, looking to capitalize off the battle that went ahead. He is about 7/10 back from Patchy, almost 8 here, so I don't think he'll have enough of a slipstream to really get past. But now Patchy, his main goal is to not look behind him, it's to look ahead of him and try and get his position back. Garrido into the braking zone, nice and clean, hanging on to that lead. There's no problems for Garrido here as he tries to check out of that battle. Absolutely sweeping through the left-hander here. Really want to get that good drive through this corner to open up that gap between those two, especially Bobby, who's going to be in that dirty air during that long right-hander. Very tricky for some of these cars through here as well, as we have Bobby at the back of Patchy now, and now he's closed this gap. Bobby is known to be quite a fast driver. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he decides, can he take Patchy in the tight, twisty section of Fuji, or will he wait till the main straight here to actually take the opportunity to pass Patchy? That main straight is deadly if you're within about 5 or 6 tenths of the driver in front, as we've seen time after time after time. As they round out to the final corner, Bobby, good traction, gonna tuck into that slipstream here. I know Patchy can see him in his mirrors. Let's see what we can get. Patchy, though, not bad drive from him. Bobby trying to hang into that slipstream and get all of the benefits of it, as we see here. We also have a driver into the pits. Not 100% sure if that's for tires, maybe damage. We did see Yassarian off the track earlier with the teleport to pits. They have retired, as Bobby not quite close enough to Patchy this time to outbrake into turn 1 or to slip up there with the slipstream. As they go through here, back in that right-hander, Bobby, as you can see, trying to offset his line. Doesn't want any of that dirty air from Patchy here. But he is still within striking distance, and they are getting towards that part of the circuit where Bobby is going to start thinking about, can I put a nose up the inside or should I stay back? Once again, as you can see, Garrido up front there. They haven't fought yet, but Garrido has checked out from Patchy and Bobby as much as he can. Patchy slightly with a bad exit there. Bobby had a little bit of a wiggle. They are not even a car's length away anymore. And Patchy goes over the curbs of the turn there. Bobby looking to capitalize off of that. Patchy with some serious understeer, but he does hang it around the inside. That was a good move from Patchy to stay on the outside, of that turn. But Bobby now with the traction out of the first turn, he is much closer than he was the first time. Let's see if he can now pass Patchy with the use of that slipstream there as he pulls alongside the long straight of Fuji. Let's see, they are almost side by side equally now, and they're gonna about stay there for the braking zone. Let's see who can outbrake the other. As they go in, they are almost dead even. Bobby still looking up the inside. Patchy still trying to hold it onto the outside. Bobby moves up through on the inside of that corner there. Now, what Bobby wants to do is to really try and check out via this corner. Use that dirty air that he's giving Patchy. As you can see, he runs wide. He wants to use that dirty air of his car to throw Patchy off of his line, wear those tires out, get him nice and hot. Patchy braking nice and deep, a little bit off the apex, looking to maybe move Bobby offline or to stick a nose up the inside somewhere, but it just doesn't work out this time. Bobby with a couple car lengths now to Patchy down the straight. Let's see if through the corner it all stays the same, and it does. Bobby nipping into those two corners after the straight there. Beautiful execution by Bobby. He didn't rush the overtake. He didn't do any crazy dive bombs. He sat there, he bided his time, and it just worked out. Patchy with that mistake of the curb, a little bit of understeer there as well that we saw him have on the last lap as well. That really is what allowed Bobby to take him and on the main straight there and through turn 1. Bobby now with a sizable gap there. He's going to be looking to check out, but he wants Garrido. He's going to be looking ahead, and he's going to be seeing what can I do about catching Garrido up now. He's got about 20 minutes to do it. Let's see if he gets there. As this midfield pack here, a couple of midfielders here looking to move up the ladder. It's always good to try and gain those positions on the straight, but with some of that one of those opening laps of drama there, they are spread out. A lot of them may be thrown off their game via the contact. Let's see, it looks like Ryan and Garrido are actually quite close here. Let's see how this is shaping up. Garrido, we saw him check out of that battle behind us between Patchy and Bobby. He is on the rear of Kiagolski now. Or sorry, no, he's not. He has quite a gap, but Ferris is here. Ferris might actually be, yes, lap traffic to Garrido. That's what we were seeing up there. Ferris moving around in 11th here. We did see Ferris with some of those battles in the early stages of the race. He does have Bobby behind him. He's going to have to be conscious of the other drivers to not get in the way. With a beautiful livery, though, I will say, as Ferris Sword goes down the main straight here. I mean, that car is absolutely gorgeous. You've got to say it looks quite nice. I like that livery. As he goes into the turn 1 braking zone here in any moment. Nips there, you see Bobby. Seems like he's being able to brake just a little bit deeper. Could be a different strat on not using the tires as much or whatnot. But as Bobby is behind Ferris, he's going to be looking to get a clean overtake here. He wants to minimize that time loss, and he wants to really look ahead and not behind him as Ferris. Oh, and Ferris goes wide. It actually looks like he's into the wall. He's spun himself. He looked like he was trying to let Bobby through, and he got onto the curb in the grass there with a 2 or 3 wheels, and it looks like that really caused him to oversteer into the wall. He's got going again. Was conscious with the rejoin, so that's always smart and that's always nice to see. And it looks like he is on his way yet again. He'll have to be careful, especially into this sector after a spin like that. Those tires are screaming at him. They're piping hot. And so he will have to be quite careful through here not to repeat a mistake. They say those tires have a memory to slide, and let's see if Ferris is able to not remind them of what just happened through that corner. We have the field now a little bit spread out at this point of the race. Differing strategies and differing paces have them a little bit spread out. Milan, though, with a gap that at one point was about 12 seconds or so, as he's passing through some traffic here, that may be what has brought his gap down, because he's now only about 9 seconds ahead of Vojtech, who we saw earlier in that battle with Victor, as he's on the back of Michael here. Michael going over the curbs a little bit wide there, probably looking at Milan with some flashing lights, letting Michael know, say, hey, I want to come through. I'm in the lead, and I'd like to come through with minimal time loss. So we will see if Michael lets him pass, or if Milan will be able to just get past via the slipstream down the main straight. As we see here, pulling up right behind Michael, and he is able to pass down the main straight. Milan now clearing that traffic, and on that straight's really where you'd like to do it. Minimal time loss. You get a little bit of a tow from the back mark in front of you. Oh, and it seemed like Milan might have just had a little bit too much speed going into there via the slipstream. When you're running in that clean air, that slipstream can be quite a shocker when you arrive to the braking zone. But Milan nonetheless hanging on, keeping his head down. He's opened that gap. He's got about 3 more tenths via that slipstream, I would say, as Vojtech is chasing in second. We'll see. Vojtech's job here is to keep his head down and put in the fastest laps that he can. He's got 15 more minutes till the race is over, and he wants to catch that P1. As we saw Kiagolski there into the pits, taking a pit stop. And we are on Bobby Boberson now, moving through here in 5th. He's about 4 seconds off of Garrido. As you can see, since we joined even, he's dropped about a 10th off of that time, and it seems that he is rapidly gaining. So we'll see how that pans out here. Bobby trying to put in those absolute banger laps, trying to catch up to Garrido. A P4 would not be too shabby given some of the opening lap or following lap drama from the start here. Since we've been on him now, he's already moved 3/10 of that gap to the side. He said thank you very much, and he's on the back of El Garrido here. Not quite on his tail, but he is chasing, and you know El Garrido is looking at that time. It just cannot get to his head. He has to keep his head down, set his laps, and they dip into the pits, but both on the same strategy it seems here. Garrido into the pits, Bobby following. We'll see where they end up out of the pit lane. As we are on with Jawa now and P7, you know, Jawa was in those opening lap battles for the start here, and he's found himself in P7. Now, this could be a difference of strategy. He could be looking to try and go long. I'm not 100% sure if Jawa has pitted or not yet, but Jawa here in P7 definitely did not want to be in some of that opening kerfuffle of those first couple of laps as he moves down the main straight with another beautiful livery here. Look at that artwork. That looks absolutely amazing. Jawa steaming down the main straight, as you can see here. An absolute amazing driver, if I will say. I've seen some of Jawa's driving in other enduros, and I've got to say it's something I'm definitely impressed by. So it's always a wonderful time to watch him work his magic on track, along with the other 12 drivers that we have as well out here competing today. And it looks like up more in the field. Wow, look at this battle. Look at how things have switched up so quickly. We have Ryan Kiegolski here in 4th, running from El Garrido and Bobby Boberson. Now, as you remember, that gap between El Garrido and Bobby was not this small when they went into the pits. So now that they have come out, Bobby has gained significant time. Ooh, Kia a little bit wide. Was he trying to make room for them to pass or not? I'm not 100% sure. Actually, we did see Kia come into the pits. So they have all pitted. All these drivers have pitted. They are now looking to race for position. Garrido gets through off of that mistake from Kia. And Kia, as you can see down the main straight, trying to tuck into the slipstream, trying to keep Bobby at bay here. Their gap is rapidly going to be closing via the slipstream, but they've created a little bit of a train. Kia, ooh, a little bit deep into the braking zone with a lockup. Bobby runs it down the inside. Not sure if he was expecting that for the turn 1 at Fuji here, but he has made it past. Now Kia wants to stay onto the back of Bobby here, but as we've talked about so many times, that dirty air can really be a killer. You see Kia trying to offset his line from Bobby, the same moves that Bobby had used on other drivers beforehand. Kia clambering over the curb, trying to hang on to the back of Bobby here. This dirty air is definitely going to be affecting Kia as he moves through here. They move onto this back straight. Kia looking for a move. Not quite, still a little bit deep in the braking zone as they move through here. But Bobby looking ahead now towards El Garrido. Like we've said many times, looking to check out of this fight. He doesn't want to be looking behind him. He wants to be looking ahead as they go through the 3rd sector at Fuji. It looks like we also have a retirement from 0 to Hero as well. So that turns it from 12 to 11 drivers now, as we are on board with Vojtech here in 3rd. As you remember, that battle earlier did not quite go his way, I believe, or maybe I believe that he was in front of Victor. I can't quite remember, but at this point, Victor is in 2nd. Seems like they would have been fighting, because Milan has now come up to 21 seconds for the lead, as Vojtech on the back of Victor here, less than a second away. He's going to be feeling the effects of that dirty air, but what he needs to do is transfer that into the positive effects of the slipstream as they are in the second sector here, nipping right into that corner very, very well. Vodtech is, and he's on the back of Victor here. Is he going to be close enough with the slipstream to send a move down the inside of this corner? And he gets very close, but he does not send it down the inside. He says, no, I will bide my time. He might be looking for a move on the main straight here. So his goal at this point is to do what he can to hang on to the back of Victor, not get affected by that dirty air. Don't heat those tires up too much. Don't make too many mistakes. Just bide your time and look for it on the main straight as they go through the final corner at Fuji. Quite a tricky corner, especially when you're at speed in cars like these. Now Vodtech on the back of Victor here. He's going to be looking for a move. It seems Victor got absolutely beautiful drive out of that corner though, because their gap is not closing as fast as Vodtech would like. He's absolutely in the range for a move here. Will he do it? No, he stays behind. He doesn't decide to take the move that time as he thinks it's not quite an idea, as we have Bobby trying to send it up the inside of Garrido now. That was a battle that we saw possibly happening a lap ago, and now Bobby has closed that gap to El Garrido, looking to send a move somewhere a little bit wide there, probably via the dirty air that he was getting. We know it's affecting these drivers, especially through some of these turns in the second and third sector here. As they move through now, Bobby looking to find a move on Garrido. He's only 6/10 behind. A little bit of that gap did open up after that sector there. Bobby a little bit deep just off the apex, but not quite there on Garrido and Victor. Looking for a move on Vodtech. Seemed like he was a little close and he got kind of checked up. But Vodtech has moved past Victor now. Sorry. Vodtech has moved past Victor somewhere in that same lap and has now put the gap on the main straight. Now he's got almost a second on Victor, and that is quite comfortable for him on the main straight here. Bobby seems to have fallen off from El Garrido somewhere in there. Maybe a mistake, maybe an oversteer, something of the sort, but Garrido has gotten that gap right back up, and he's feeling much more comfortable than he was about a half a lap ago. But Garrido slowly closing in on this battle for what is going to be second and third place. He wants to capitalize off of whatever is going on in front of him. He's looking for drivers to make mistakes. He wants them to fight, to just slow them down by a second or two a lap so that he can go in there and capitalize. As we have Jawa now in 7th. We saw Jawa earlier. We said Jawa's mission was to keep his head down, set those good laps. Don't do anything too crazy. Don't get caught up in any stupid battles or anything like that. And he has done just that. He has kept his head down. He has set those laps, and he is now hunting Kiegolski down as they enter the technical sector of Fuji here. He is not that far off, within a second as they go through here. All he has to do is to hit these apexes and not, just like that, not clamber over the curbs, as I was just about to say, and he moves up the inside of Kiegolski. But Kiegolski looking for the switchback on Jawa. He's not going to let that up quite that easy. As they go onto the main straight here, Jawa with the thin line, Kia with the outside line as there's contact between them. Kia has run into the back of Jawa there and really honestly did nothing but slow himself down and given Jawa a boost onto the main straight, and that's exactly what Jawa needed, and it's not what Kiegolski was looking to do. I'm sure he was looking for a switchback out of that corner, but unfortunately Jawa really parked it on the apex there and got his move done. Beautiful racing between the two of them. Great move by Jawa to move up into 6th position now. Kiegolski trying to hang on to the back of Jawa here. He's going to be looking to get that battle out of his head and to focus on what is in front of him, and that is Jawa. He needs to take these last about 5.5 minutes of this race and really set those laps and capitalize. We know the tire wear is probably getting to the drivers once again after their pit stops. As they are in the last stages of this race, things are looking to heat up. It looks like we have El Garrido as well, having quite a close gap to Victor up there, who has moved past Vodtech. So somewhere in there, that battle has gone on, but Vodtech not quite giving El Garrido the gap that he wants. As we move to it now, El Garrido has capitalized off of that battle. As we said, Bobby hanging not too far behind Vodtech, maybe with a mistake or something there, but that doesn't matter to El Garrido. What El Garrido is worried about is Victor in front of him as he's on his tail on the main straight here, closing in using the slipstream. He thinks about a move down the inside. Does he go for it? No, he stays behind. He stays behind Victor. He says, I'm not close enough. And he tucks in, and he's going to look for a move maybe later in this lap, or he's going to wait a full lap and try to get him on the main straight. We will see what goes on here as they come up to some lap traffic. They're going to have to be careful around them. They're going to hope that this lap traffic is going to be careful around them. All the while they're moving through the lap traffic, they are going to be racing. Anything is on the boards now. Things get a little dicey when you get to situations like this, and we'll see what El Garrido can do with it. He's on the rear of Victor now. They might not even need to get to the lap traffic as El Garrido tries to go down the inside of Victor. Oh, and Victor almost closes the door right on El Garrido's nose, and Vodtech looking to get his nose up the inside here. He's looking for an opportunity as they go into the last sector here. El Garrido still hanging on to Victor through this sector here. He needs to be careful about contact, and as I say that, tries to go up the inside of Victor, and they touch. It spun Victor out. El Garrido has let Victor go back in front, but the overall winners from that, we have Vodtech and Bobby Boberson, who we said was not that far from that battle. He's about 2.5 seconds the last time we saw him on the main straight there, and he is a large winner from that battle, up 2 positions just by being smart and hanging on the rear. El Garrido now trying to stay in front of Victor on the main straight, losing just a little bit in braking, but still keeping ahead of Victor now. El Garrido needs to be very careful as Victor is absolutely going to be looking for that position back. But Bobby Boberson, really the big winner from that entire battle there. He got to move up 2 positions, which was basically free for him, and that's a great result for him in that battle there. As we also have Vodtech, who gets to check out of that specific battle between El Garrido and Victor as well. And he is looking to now, at this point, hold on to his second place position. Victor still on the back of Garrido here as they move into this sector. They are in the absolute final stages of this race, and this is when things are going to really heat up. These drivers tired from going corner after corner after corner. We have Ferris moving off track for the traffic here. Tired corner after corner. They have been driving for about 43 minutes now, and it's been a long race, I'm sure, for some of these guys who have been locked in these battles since the beginning. As they are back on the main straight now, Bobby quite close to Vodtech, Garrido with a little bit of a gap, and Victor still looking to try and capitalize off of the mistakes of those up front. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a battle where at this point, honestly, anybody could end up anywhere. We don't really know what will come of this. We don't know if Bobby will be able to catch Vodtech in the closing laps as they go through the left and right of Fuji, slowly going around this corner. It's so long when you're in the car. It feels like it takes forever to get around. And Vodtech with a little bit of a lockup. Bobby nips into the apex very nicely, right on the rear of Vodtech now. He's not far, about 4/10 onto this straight. Is he going to think about the dive bomb? No, he stays behind, nips underneath, and he says, no, I'm going to wait a second. We're going to go through this sector, and he's probably going to be looking for a move on the main straight, but Vodtech under extreme pressure here as he clambers over some of those curbs, allowing Bobby to just get that much closer. Bobby with a slight wiggle as they come up to the final turn here. What's going to happen? Bobby stays behind. Another wiggle from Bobby there. That's not going to help his drive off of the final turn, but he's not far. About 5/10 now, 4.5 tenths onto the main straight. Garrido still looking for some type of opportunity there as we see Jawa on the back of Victor. Victor seems to have fallen off of the back of El Garrido. Now he's starting to look behind. He's trying to stay away as we go down into the turn 1 braking. Bobby still staying behind, pressuring Vodtech, trying to get him into a mistake here. Bobby doesn't want to make a stupid move, but he would rather pass easily by letting Vodtech make a mistake than to have to send it down the inside and maybe risk a little bit of contact. Bobby has been biding his time this entire race, and we've seen him again and again decide to not take the dive bomb opportunity, but to just stick behind and wait for a mistake from the driver up front. Victor now with a 10-second penalty for cutting. That'll be quite unfortunate for his race as Jawa has just moved past him. Kia within 10 seconds as well. As we go down the mid back straight here into the technical sector. Again, Garrido still hanging on to the back, and Bobby in a very similar position as he was about a lap ago. The leader is on the final lap here, so let's see what happens. This is the final lap now. Bobby has to make a move somewhere on Vodtech. If he wants this position, he has to be smart and concise with it. Let's see what he will do. Takes beautiful drive out of the final corner. Man, this is shaping up. Let's see who can stay there on the line. We have Bobby 2/10 away from Vodtech. Let's see if it's enough. That slipstream. Bobby now moves through to the inside, and it's just not enough. Bobby maybe a half car length as Garrido sends it. Maybe a half car length away from Vodtech in that race. Not too bad racing from them, as we have Ryan now also passing down the main straight, and we have what looks like Ferris Sword here maybe, who's taken the checkered flag. And one more driver as they come up here. Looks like Michael, who we saw very early in this race, fighting for some upper positions, and unfortunately has stopped there as we have two more drivers coming through here for the end of the race here as they move their way down the main straight. Nick Cruz with 30-second penalty to his final time as he spins off into the wall there. We have Mylan in first. Vodtech took second this race. Bobby Boberson in third, followed by El Garrido in fourth. Jawa in fifth. Victor in sixth. Ryan Kiagolski in seventh, who will be promoted with Victor's penalty for cutting, I believe. And then we have Stredchik in eighth. Hatchie ninth. Ferris Sword in 10th. And then Nick Cruz in 11th. The other two drivers, Zero and Yassarian, retiring. Mylan with what I would call a decisive win today. Hung on to that lead, kept his gap up, kept it clean, and won that race by what looked to be about 24 seconds. So an absolutely beautiful race. Some great racing today here at the Fuji Speedway for the fourth round of the World Tour Saturdays series. I will say thank you to the organizers of the race. Thank you to IOSH. Thank you to Speed Bump as well for supporting the technical side of the stream and the camera work, which was absolutely beautiful today. And thank you to everybody who was watching. We will see you again in the next round of the series on the World Tour Saturday. It's looking to be quite a championship, so definitely don't forget to tune in, and thank you.